Thank you. Now for the non-as...
Hvala vam.
Thank you, Chair. In terms of representing the Minister of Finances, I'm going to ask you a single question. But first of all, I'm a little bit worried about the inability of the governments in the European Union to actually get the economic growth going and to ask the proper questions. In 1992, there was the Maastricht referendum, and there were policy changes in a number of European countries, and this promised full employment and prosperity. What's the situation 20 years later? All the economic indicators are in the red at the moment. Things are going badly for all age groups. There are real structural problems. And what we now see is deflation, which is what we hear in all of the political comments and in the media. Public finances are in a terrible situation, and we find this a situation where the European Commission is actually turning its criticism onto France. We now see that the balance of payments is in deficit everywhere except in Germany. We're leading to general impoverishment. Immigration is going up, and we find ourselves suffering from draconian austerity, which is affecting the citizen. On the other hand, the financial indicators are still open for discussion. The profits have gone up, and this is because of the support that's been given by public finances and by the European Central Bank. And this is happening to the negative impact of employment. And the rich are getting richer, which is terrible given the account of the awful impact this is happening on the general population. Do you still think that this macroeconomic neoliberal model of the Troika, which is about privatizing everything and ensuring that everything happens at the European level, including the currency and the banks, is dealt with at the European level? Do you still think that this is the right model? Do you think this is the proper and the right macroeconomic model for the well-being of all of our citizens? I'm afraid that people are now getting angry, and that if we don't change our course, this is going to have a very negative impact on the political agenda.
A lot of the things you said I wouldn't agree, but it would take more than the remaining a couple of minutes to go into all that. So I'll concentrate on your question, which I think was about privatization and whether we are on the right course, etc. Privatization is not the key element of any program. It's in some programs, it's part of a solution to bring down national debt. The expectations of that part of the programs is not very high, and the results coming from it have not been too impressive. Yet, it has been part of the program because a number of countries have unsustainable debt levels which have to be dealt with, and in the approach how to deal with that, privatization can be a part of it. But the effects of it so far in that respect have not been great. Is the whole approach of the Troika the right one? You have to realize that the approach of the Troika is the approach of the Eurogroup. The Troika is not has not set its own strategy, does not design and decide on its own programs. These programs are discussed and negotiated with the countries concerned and then decided in the Eurogroup by the ministers of all the countries. So there is this idea that the Troika is in itself a sort of independent body which completely uncontrolled and undemocratically takes decisions. If you want to criticize the Troika, you must criticize the Eurogroup because we take the decisions on programs. Are programs a good thing? I think they have proven to be effective in the sense that they've pulled countries away from the brink of bankruptcy, but they've been very hard in the effects. Could we have done it differently? Possibly, but there are no easy solutions when a country is almost on that brink of bankruptcy. And the programs have proven to deal with a number of structural issues in different countries. And in a number of countries they are also proven to be successful. Not yet in bringing down the unemployment to levels that we find acceptable. Not yet to deal with all the social effects that the crisis has brought upon societies. But in terms of recovery of trust, return of investments, economic growth, and even in a number of countries already the bringing down of unemployment. Am I satisfied with where we are? Absolutely not. And do I feel that we have to step up our efforts on all the elements of the policy mix? Yes, I do, but in a right balance. And once again, the type of the character of the crisis that we had, which has a lot to do with balance sheets problems, debts having been built up by too much easy credit in the period before the crisis. All of those debts, both public and private, will have to be dealt with, and it will take time. So there are no quick fixes, and I think that is also part of the honesty that we need to show to our electorate.
Thank you. This was the first round for political groups. Now we start for question of members.